And just like that, we are live. Now listen, everybody, while we're live, go ahead and share the broadcast. Go to my page and share it out. We're going to get a great show tonight.
I got to get my phone.
That's okay.
Room. Sorry. Should I go off camera for a minute and grab my phone real quick?
Absolutely. You got my time. We just going to get our listening audience perfect. Here.
Okay.
Share it out. Ask people to join. I'm just putting it in some groups as people are coming. We want to send a powerful message tonight to everybody. Okay. Jackie, can you share it to the mastermind group? You got it? And while we're, and my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it's Holy Week. I'm really excited to have this special panel of amazing sisters of God. I'm waiting on my brother to come on board, our Wesley Webb. But we've got a special announcement as everybody. Were we able to get it shared into the Sims group?
Trying to get, it's not hasn't popped up yet. I'm waiting.
I got it. I'll get it.
Hasn't popped up yet.
Go to my page.
I'm at the Dr. Larry White.
Okay.
I'm at your show page. Does everyone else have it up on their page?
Go to your, it's in your inbox, Jackie Hollywood Mims. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
We're going to go ahead and go live. We are live, but now let's talk. Listen, welcome, everybody, to the Dr. Larry White Senior Talk Show. Lord put it on my spirit to grab my sisters, my brother's on his way. Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing the broadcast out. Jackie Hollywood Mims, Meechie, and Dr. Kavanaugh. Special shout out to Dr. Clarice Kavanaugh. Much like y'all just got this memo today, and it's 3 hours behind. So I'm giving Dr. Kavanaugh a pass for not being on a prayer call this morning, but she is here on the show today. Amen.
I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock, so.
Jackie gonna be giving you a call, sis, to make sure following what Lisa is saying about time management and sleeping. So listen, we have a special announcement to make. Y'all saw it happen today. Jackie Hollywood Mims is gracing the cover of Own It magazine. Round of applause for our sister, everybody. Tell us a little bit about the magazine. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, your new book, your second book's coming out. What's going on with you, Jackie Hollywood Mims, before you have to depart for your other show?
Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and good evening to our chairman, Dr. Larry White. I am thoroughly excited to grace the cover of a magazine today, Own It. And I got to give a shout out to Marisa Bluedorn. Thank you so kindly. And I wouldn't have had that relationship connection without Dr. Larry White Sr. And what's so great about our Sims family is exactly that. It's the connection. So I'm so happy about that connection has granted me a place on the cover of a magazine. So I am so excited about that. So in the magazine, I talk about quite a few things. I talk a little bit about my stellar career in real estate, just 25 years strong. I just talk about my whole journey in the Hall of Fame, top 1% in the nation. I talk about my rookie beginnings. I talk about that, and I talk about my show, Real Talk with Jackie Hollywood Mims, that's coming in the fall of this year. And I talk a little bit about Volume 1 and Volume 2. Iron sharpens iron. Inspire to achieve, think, and grow. If you have not gotten this book, my suggestion is that you get it. 1 is amazing. I anchored the chapter, Faith, Hope, and Love. I talked about my journey growing up on Long Island as a water baby, 2 blocks from the bay. 14 children. I'm the youngest of 14. I talk about that. Then I talk about my mom's battle with COVID-19. In my first book, my mom is alive. She's fighting for her life, but I challenge you to get Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 2, I talk about the loss of my mom to COVID-19 in just 8 days of being in the hospital. But to back it up, during the first volume, I was so blessed by Dr. White just joining the group to say, hey, would you like to be a part of the anthology? I'm like, this is my first time, yes. And I was so grateful to him. And from there, we've been journeying together. And I have to say that Dr. Larry White Sr. has been my sunshine in some dark days. He was there when I lost mom. So, and my family and I were just crushed. And I talk about that in volume 2, which is the second anthology with so many beautiful, amazing women and men, with some of these ladies are right on the screen. These are my Sims sisters. I gotta say that Signature Entrepreneurs and Mastermind is rocking, everybody. I love the group of people that God has put together. This has nothing to do with Dr. Larry White Sr., who is our national chair. I am blessed to be the national co-chair. This has nothing to do with us. This is God, everybody. God did
Amen.
it, and he keeps on doing it, and he keeps on blessing us. And I just want you guys to know it's Holy Week, and I'm fired up. But you guys keep me in prayer, because this is the week that my mom fought for her life. You know, on April 6th that is when my mom went to be with the Lord. So it is 1 year ago during Holy Week. She was fighting for her life, and she lost it to COVID-19. So with that said, everyone, I love you all. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for your thoughts. And I thank you most of all for your love, because I'm a love kind of girl. That's just me. I come from loving parents. And I just want to say that I love each and every one of you. God bless you all. And I can't wait to meet with you guys in September when the Sims family will come together. Dr. Larry White Sr., thank you so kindly for everything that you do for our Sims family. God bless you, brother. I'll give it back to you.
Well, look, hang on there with us for one more minute. I know you have a show. I want, we got Meechie coming up. We've got Leah. But this is what I want to say. First of all, I want to thank everybody who has donated to the cause. We have our black tie networking VIP reception tomorrow. Myself and Jackie, we will host. We have a slew of speakers. I was able to salvage it by the grace of God through Natalie. And just thank you, Natalie DeGraff and Reed. I know you may not be watching, but shout out to you. The Lord used you in a mighty way because we had to kind of pivot, and that's what we've been doing along the way during COVID-19. And Natalie DeGraff and Reed will receive a Mastermind Leadership Award. I would like to go down before our sister has to leave. You know, Dr. Kavanaugh, you inspire me. You say great things about my granddaughter. I watch how you bless the group. And for the sake of time, before our sister have to depart, I would like to give you the floor, because you did everything like Leah and Meechie. You came in, hit the deck plate running, put people on your show. You're a true giver. And as soon as I've been fully vaccinated, everybody, me and my wife, so I'm going to be traveling. We're not out of the woods yet, but you see, I told you she off the chain. You see, she off the chain. But I'm coming. I'm fully vaccinated, and I can't wait to come to deposit your dreams into success, Los Angeles. Jackie, you stay on for another minute. Pop off when you can. We love you. Say some kind words about Jackie Hollywood Mims, that has fought through all of that, and she ain't even told you some other stuff, y'all, and she show up on time, make no excuses. Dr. Kavanaugh, say some beautiful things about the other Hollywood, because we know you in Hollywood, and you Hollywood too. So say some things about your sister before you leave. We love you, Jackie, but Dr. Kavanaugh, you have the floor at this time, my sister.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, and as usual, you give me a lot of time to get ready to do whatever I need to do, Mom. And I appreciate.
Hey, Jackie, I told her to dress up. Jackie. She said, "What do you mean? I'm always dressed up."
Pretty.
I got out some bling stuff, whatever. Right? I just dropped my grandson off the basketball practice. He said, "Well, Grandma, I can't talk to you right now. I got to go home." Right? So, but I'm just honored to be here. I'm also honored to be in the group, the Signature Entrepreneur Masterminds group. It has blessed me beyond measure. The best thing I love is the camaraderie, all the brilliant minds that have come together and blessed me and inspired me, and taking me as I try to do others to the very next level. Because all of us are here for one reason: to level up. You know,
Yes.
We're not here to level down. We're here to level up. We want to rise, and we help each other do that. So totally, without fail, we bind and come together. I am excited about Volume 2 of Iron Sharpened Arms, which I have a chapter of taking your great to greater, and talking about how God will take you to your greater if you give him the opportunity and are obedient. We love to say we love the Lord, but when it comes time to listen, we don't like to listen. And so
Preach,
therefore
sister.
we are sometimes our own worst enemies. So, I'm just, it's a privilege to be around people that are smarter than you, as loving as you, and as giving as you, because that's how you can rise and level up. You cannot be the biggest fish in the pond, because if you're the smartest, the prettiest, the this is, the that is, you will never grow,
That's
ever.
right.
And as my grandmother used to say, when you green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. So I just try to stay green and continue to grow. Thank you so much. Love to all. And I appreciate the opportunity. And my next venture, I might want to say, besides the Kavanaugh Group, is I'm relaunching my full service travel agency, and I renamed it to Just Lux Travel. Com. So stay tuned. You can individually travel or travel as a group, and I'm certified travel agent to get you anywhere in the world for a really great price. So you don't have to suffer. And I have layaway plans because we like layaway. So
Right, right.
we like to lay it away.
Dr.
Thank
Kavanaugh,
you all.
and I don't want to do it. I'm not going to say goodbye to Jackie because I want her to be able to take her a water break in between her two shows, and she's got one coming up. So we're going to say not goodbye, but we'll see you later. We thank you,
Yes.
Jackie, and I'm going to interview our sisters. I will try to get Wesley Webb here, but I want to thank you all in the midst of an iron. And I thank you. That was so brilliantly said, Dr. Kavanaugh, because I was telling Jackie this today, and I always telling members, I might be the chairman of the group, but I'm far from the smartest. I got my lane, and I know what my lane is. My lane is to connect the folks, and then turn it over to the smart folks like the 3 and 4 of you all to really get in there. And Leah and I had a wonderful conversation on education. You'll be hearing from her soon. So Sister Jackie Hollywood Mims, we say see you later. We will see you tomorrow on Red Carpet. Don't be bringing me that light skin stuff my twin sister Leah Chapman and Dr. Kavanaugh talking about it's too cold outside, all right? And she grew up on the water of New York. You're on mute, sweetie. You're on mute. Yeah, say it again. You're on mute. We can't hear you, Jackie. Oh, can I unmute you?
I think she's
I
on
can.
mute.
Yes. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
me?
Now
Yes.
we can.
I
Yeah.
said, ladies, I know if you come from warm weather, I have plenty of furs for you. So come on down because I love to share. Love you guys. Thanks a
Good
lot.
night. Thank you so
Love you
much.
Good night.
Mwah.
God bless
All
you.
righty.
Enjoy.
God bless you all. Thank you, sister. Oh,
Thank you, brother.
thank you. And Dr. Kavanaugh, we're coming back because we've got some questions about your product and services. And you see how that screen shifts with those lower thirds and StreamYard. Go get it. We love it. Let's go down to our sister Meechie Jefferis. Meechie, on this particular broadcast, has been with me the longest. You coming up on 2 years, right, Meechie? Coming up on 2 years?
Yes.
And she has given her time, her energy, her money, her prayers to the group. She hit me up today. She sharpened me. She said, Doc, the website is a little off. I went right to it and fixed it. That's the iron sharpening the iron, and we all look after each other. So I thank you for that, for my sister. So tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit of your background, and what do you do for a living, Meechie Jefferis?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brother Larry White. It's a privilege and an honor to be a part of the Sims family, which is something that I've never, ever been a part of before. Chicago, Illinois, born and raised, not the outskirts, not Schaumburg, not Aurora, not Wheaton, inner city, Chicago, Illinois. Born and raised there. I left Chicago at the age of 18 and entered the United States Air Force. Was blessed for God to carry me through 26 years and 6 days of honorable,
Excuse
credible,
me,
faithful
Meechie. I
service.
just got to tell you, Dr. Kavanaugh is smiling because she's from Chicago too. The Shy.
Ah,
So she, yeah.
okay.
That's
Yes,
right.
the shy, yes. And I was blessed to be able to retire after 26 years of service to our country at the age of 44. And I literally retired. I did not go back to work. I told my husband I wasn't going back to work. And the only way that I would do that is if it was my own business and it was on my own terms. So for 3 glorious years, I was literally retired, doing life my way. And it just so happens that July 2018, a very dear friend of mine from church shared with me about financial literacy campaign, teaching people how money works and how to make money work for them. And I thought, well, we've always wanted to learn, at least we said we always wanted to learn as a couple, how money works. So I decided to go to a presentation, check it out. In September 2018, I joined my awesome organization and became a licensed financial services agent as well as a financial literacy educator. Been doing that since September 2018. And it was somewhere along that journey that I actually met Dr. White. My husband and I, we met you at the red carpet affair for the premiere of Harriet. And we just stayed in touch after that. And soon after that, you asked me to join. And I said, sure, why not? And so that's a little bit about me. But another thing I would love to admit, and I need to share it, is I'm also a breast cancer survivor, 7 years and counting cancer free. And I actually shared my journey in a book entitled No More Bad Days, which was published in May 2018. So here I am, unbeknownst unto me what door the God would open, that I should be privileged to be a collaborating, contributing author to Iron Sharpens Iron Volume 2. So I've said enough. Thank you.
You know, Michi, too much who is given, much is required. And all of you give so much. And I want to tell you all, I love me some Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. I love me some Frederick Douglass. But when I saw the movie Harriet, she became my strength. Here's a woman that escaped slavery, um, left her husband, her family. She went to Philadelphia and she became Harriet. Her slave name was Minty. Now, I'm not going to give you the story where my wife and I went over to the Eastern Shore where Harriet stuff is. But this is what I want to say. She was free, went back to get her husband. Her husband had remarried and she was devastated. And here's the thing, and I'm going to put this into my journey, my power, my strength. The Lord came into her and said, you didn't come back here for your husband. You came here for your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters. And she kept coming back to get more and more from family members. Risk life, risk death. I don't know anybody in civil rights is more powerful than Harriet Tubman. So the Lord put it on my spirit to do that screening. Young black boy out of Gary, Indiana, 34 miles away from Chicago, West Side. And I rented out the whole theater, and Meechie did show up. And every time I think I can't go on, the Lord has, I had some obstacles in my life. I'm on my second marriage, been married to my beautiful wife 18 years, amen. But I think about Harriet, she never gave up. And so I'm a tough one, y'all. Y'all get me behind closed doors. Meechie didn't see me in action. I'm a tough. But I think about Harriet's story. She could just went up there and said, I'm good. She kept going back, risk of life. That's empowerment, where it meets inspiration meets empowerment, as I call it. So I just thank you, Meechie. You came, your husband, and it started the journey of me writing these books. And look where we are today with the Sims family. So I thank you. And I'm going to come back because we're going to ask you some financial literacy questions. I like to go up to my sister. All of you all are Black queens. Let's go up to Leah Chapman out of Detroit. You're so amazing. We talked about it. She's our Senior Executive Director for Education. And also Meechie is our Senior Executive Director for Finance. So we got some board members here, and we got the beautiful and amazing Dr. Clarice Kavanaugh here. And we're going to go back to the professor at UCLA that wears multiple hats. So when I come to LA, I got my own travel agent with my sister. So there it is. Leah Chapman, you have the floor, sister.
Oh, good evening, Doc. I appreciate this opportunity to be with you this evening. Again, I have touched just a little bit before on another show of what I do. You can kind of see it on the, the label here, the mental reconstructionist. And so I am a clinical therapist as well as a mental health coach. I currently own my own practice, Intervene LLC. And the focal point of what I do is pretty much going into social systems to try to assist in areas of brokenness. I also work along with individuals that have suffered from severe trauma or complex trauma. And so that pretty much, is what I do as far as my day job. Um, Outside of that, Doc did make mention that I am now the senior executive of the education program, of which I've had my hand in the educational sector at various times. Worked in academic advising at the tertiary level. I even taught with Teach for America out in Baltimore. I was out there in B-more for a little bit, Doc. And it's always just kind of been where God places me into spaces with our youth. And so they always weigh so heavily on my heart and wanting to pour into them and make certain that they're prepared for a future. You speak about Harriet and looking at the life that she led. Right. She wasn't leading it just solely for herself. She wasn't pouring into self. She was giving of herself for others and making certain that they could survive and they could thrive. And, I live my life pretty much the same. Right. Very much servant oriented and making certain that, we give back to those within our community, especially our children. And so the honor underneath Sims, being able to have this role, it's just kind of bar none, right? God just won't let me leave the babies alone, won't let me pour back into them and helping them to make it through America, right? Especially as African American youth, especially looking at the school to prison pipeline and how that adversely affects or thwarts their ability to succeed. There's so much brilliance behind bars. But if more of us would step up, take the plate, and pour and invest more so into our children, I think that we could do more, right, on our railroad to success instead of the railroad sending them off to prison. And so I've given my life for that, and I do appreciate Doc for this opportunity. Lastly, I would also say that I too am a contributing author on Iron Sharpens Iron, Volume 2. I've been awarded, I would say, or have the distinct pleasure of being the first chapter, which was just kind of mind blowing. I do enjoy writing, but when Doc shared that with me, that he wanted me to kind of start that thing off, it really touched my soul. And when we look at the chapter that I had written, it's entitled "You Better Recognize," right? And it's, of course, some slang, not very much, correct as far as the King's English or the Queen's English or whomever's English. But I tend to write to my people, right? I want you to be able to connect with words as they're presented so that the changes that's necessary in your life to be made can be done so. And so when I speak about you better recognize, the whole purpose of that is knowing who you are. There's a lot in a name. There's a lot when you show up, and you need to know whether or not you're truly even an iron. Can't shine an arpin, sharpen an iron if you are not an iron. And so that's pretty much what my chapter speaks to. And again, an honor and a pleasure to be able to kind of lead out in the book and just kind of go along this journey with my sisters and my brother here and all the others that are contributing authors on Volume 2. So thank you so much for having me, Doc.
No worries at all. No worries at all, Leah Chapman. I was pulling up your chapter. You better recognize. And let me tell you, I'm kind of, most men are compartmentalized. Like they keep the wallet in their back right pocket. They put the keys over here. Men are really compartmentalized. They don't like too much change. And so I'm writing a book with my brothers and sisters. Let me lead off. And the Lord told me this time, you're not leading off on this. I said, okay, Lord. I wrote a book, get out, one of the chapters, like, get out of your own way. When the Lord speaks to you, you do what you got to do. So I like, okay. Jackie was like, I'm going to do the anchor chapter, right? I said, you can do the anchor chapter, but I got to be chapter 2. She's like, really? I said, yeah, the Lord told me to lead off with Leah, because when I read her chapter, it was exactly, when you think about a anthology, a compilation of writers, you might have that first chapter that people are really feeling. They may not feel chapter 2. And so chapter 1 is so strong, it'll keep you engaged. So I had a lot of pressure to come behind her, I'm gonna tell you. So I had to come with it so I can keep you engaged to chapter 3. And so my biggest job is not only to proofread it, format it, but make sure each chapter flows, And so that's some things people don't look like. If you get to chapter 5, and I'm not talking about none of our writers, but what if chapter 5 is boring and weak to the audience? So that's what I see. I see how we can take the peaks and valleys of each one and finish it out. So I thank you, sister. I'm going to stay for the sake of time for 7 more minutes. I'm going to come back to you, Leah. I'm going to ask the doctor a question, go over to our financial expert, and then I'm going to end it out with one more question. Dr. Kavanaugh, I was talking to Leah today, and I was talking to Jackie. I spend 40 hours a week with mastermind members. I'll be honest with you, this is a full-time job. You have been in business for yourself for over 30 years, from Chicago, Indiana. What made you start this entrepreneurial journey? Because the topic that Leah and I were talking about today is getting more African Americans, especially these young folks, these millennials, to own your own brand so you can have that flexibility. And like, I got to tell you, when you was an entrepreneur, my mom and dad was working in a steel mill, and they didn't know entrepreneurship. They told me, oh, you're going to go to military, come back and work in a steel mill like your dad. I'm like, look, I ain't good with my hands and no hard hat. I ain't going to be working in that steel mill. I need to start my own business. So I got started a little late, around 45, but you have been rocking and rolling all your life with your own business. What gave you the aspiration and the inspiration to start? Because my biggest challenge of starting my own business and writing a book was, I'm afraid that they're going to laugh at me because I'm going to fail. But obviously I got past that. But what was your biggest inspiration to start your own business on multiple levels? And I love what you said, #level up. Dr. Kavanaugh, you have the floor, my sister.
Well, I was a woman in corporate America, but my parents never worked for anybody but themselves or my grandparents. My parents owned like a jazz lounge where Miles Davis, Duke Ellington on 63rd and College Grove, the Persian Room. They were part of the owners, and that's all I knew. As I traveled through my journey, I realized I needed a square, as they used to call it, right? A square gig. But I used to sew for people. So I made money sewing. I'm a seamstress. Okay. I used to act, so I know how to act. Always had a side hustle. Always. Because you never knew what would happen. I've had husbands. I did say plural, but okay. But I would have never even thought about, because my parents and grandparents were very independent women. So I would have never thought about going to my husband saying, this is what I would like or not like or whatever. I would just tell him, oh, I'm getting ready to do this. And he would support me. And he would like, yeah, my wife is doing this and my wife is doing that. So when I finally left corporate and already had my business up and running, I had the Kavanaugh Group, which went to a phenomenal youth and went back to the Kavanaugh Group. It spun off into a full service public relations agency where I was very much involved with a lot of big key events. It spun off to a travel agency. It spun off into faith-based situations where I would go and set up marketplaces for churches where people at church could be vendors to show people what they did. So I would have the vendor marketplace every fourth Sunday in the parking lot of the church. and where, you know, for a very nominal fee, where they could show people, you know, not just have the directory, but this is what brother so and so does. This is what sister so and so does. So I've always been about empowerment. You know, I've always been about helping others. It wasn't about me. You got to take a chance. You know, every black person in the world, if you're alive, you you go to the
That's right.
grocery store, you take a chance. Okay, I mean
That's
that's
right.
what we talk. And I'm from Chicago, Leah's from Detroit, you from Gary, so we understand the dynamics of being in a black community and what could happen. So we always rolling. It's all about the hustle. You can have a square, but I was also blessed to work in the pharmaceutical industry for over 30 years. I worked out of my house. So people would say, how many days vacation did I have? I said 365 because I did what I wanted and I worked on my businesses. So I just think you also have to be strategic. You have to be
Yeah.
strategic and never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I think that's the key, and not be afraid to fail.
Dr. Kavanaugh, we just have a few more minutes, but I do have to ask you this question that I've asked multiple times on this show, and you've hit it. This show is about empowerment, inspiration, leadership, and entrepreneurship, and you've covered all four. People say, hey, what's your show about? Empowerment, inspiration, leadership, entrepreneurship. I can say it fast because when the Lord say you're going to start a show, what's my platform? What are we going to talk about? Empowerment, inspiration, entrepreneurship, and leadership. But I have a big question for you. And then we get your contact information. We go to Meechie and close it out with Leah. Do you think entrepreneurs are taught, or do you think entrepreneurs are born?
Born.
Thank you.
Born.
Thank you.
You gotta have it in you. Entrepreneur is a salesperson. Salespeople, I'm a salesperson. Salespeople are born. I could train you all day long. Born. The people either got it, they don't got it. The people got the hustle, they don't have the hustle. That's it.
I agree with you. I had to ask you that question. I completely agree with you. I spent 25 years making other people a lot of money, and then I had it in me, but I had to trust my gut that I could go out and get my LLC, and it was always in me. It was born, and I wouldn't feel disrespectful saying somebody can't be taught, but it's got to be in you from birth and born. I echo the sentiment on that one, sister. Let's have your contact information, Dr. Kavanaugh. There she go. There she go.
You can contact me at the Kavanaugh. Well, you know, you can contact me at Clarice at theKavanaughGroup.com, Kavagroup@gmail.com. You know, you can contact me through Facebook, through my webpage on Facebook, The Pain of Change with Dr. Clarice, or YouTube. I can be contacted. And I think that might be some of the easiest ways. Or send me a friend request, Clarice Kavanaugh with a K, on Facebook, you know, and or send me inbox me. And I'll be more than happy to reach out to you for whatever, you know. And I'm welcoming both ladies, Leah and Tanisha, what's your first name? I'm sorry. The other, what's her name? Tamisha?
Meechie Jefferis.
Meechie.
I would welcome both you guys to my, okay, I'm sorry, Meechie Jefferis. I really messed that up. I'm sorry, Meechie. I'm inviting both of you guys to come on individually. I would love to have you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. So I'll reach out to both of you guys now after the show, and we'll schedule dates, and let's make this thing happen. I need somebody desperately to talk about both of what you guys, especially literacy, breast cancer. I just lost my play daughter on Tuesday to breast cancer, 47 years old, and her mother died 2 weeks before she did. We haven't even buried the mama. So this is big. So I need someone to come in and talk about grief. How are we getting through this grief? What's a whole lot of stuff. Everybody ain't dying from COVID, but people are dying. So both of you, standing invitation, of course, you too, Dr. Larry White, Sr.
I got to come back.
Honored.
Well, this is what it's all about. I love this
girl
show.
from the south side of Chicago. Amen.
Yes. Well, Dr. Kavanaugh, thank you so much hanging with us. We got a great goodbye for everybody. Let's go down to Meechie Jefferis for a second. Meechie, you just mentioned you are a breast cancer survivor. You are one tough cookie, okay? After you retired from the Air Force, breast cancer survivor, what made you get into finance, generational wealth? So that's question number one. What made you get into that? And also, what kind of tips can you tell us, about financial literacy right now, especially in the era of COVID-19? For small business owners that have the right certifications like SBA, SB, there's a lot of money out there. So give us some financial tips. I know this is a loaded question as we get ready to get you out of here. Give us some financial tips, but talk to us about how you persevered from retirement to Air Force, breast cancer survivor, because you could have been like, you know what, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to lay on my retirement, hang out with my husband and chill. But you're still out there helping people understand generational wealth. Talk to us about your journey, how you persevere. Remember, empowerment, inspiration, leadership, and entrepreneurship. You cover all four boxes of the show. So talk to us a little bit about that and end it out with your contact information.
Awesome. Absolutely. So the Lord opened up that door. That's the only thing that I can really tell you of how I ended up doing the financial literacy campaign. To be honest with you, I was already retired. I mean, 3 years just getting up, doing what I wanted to do. I had a honey-do list, did that, and the rest of the day was mine. There are a couple of things that I also did while I was in retirement. So while I was comfortably retired, it was about me. Retirement is about doing what you want to do. And that's exactly what I did. So as a result of the breast cancer and coming through that with flying colors, I told God that whatever door you open up for me, I'm walking in. There's no fear, no fear. And so I found myself doing things that I never thought I would do, like bodybuilding competitions, pageant competitions. And
Wow.
then to top it off, writing a book about my breast cancer journey. But I had to do those things first in order to write my story. And after writing the book, a friend of mine at church, he said, "Hey, Michi, you need to go and check out these financial literacy workshops. They're teaching people some awesome stuff about how money works." Okay, I'll go ahead and see what they're talking about. And it went on from there. But I didn't just jump into it right away. I had to get approval from above. And when God gave me the scripture, Philippians chapter 2, verses 3-5, which talks about, and I'm not saying it verbatim, but it says, "Be careful to do nothing out of selfish ambition or with vain intent, but to take on the interests of others and not the interests of yourself." And the Lord said, "If you put my people first, you take care of my people, I will bless you."
Amen.
So where I'm at right now is a result of me being obedient and trusting and stepping out on faith what God had prepared me to do, which I have absolutely 0 degrees in money. Zero. So after answering your first question, to your second question, what was the second question? I forgot. Oh,
What
the
kind of
tips, the
what kind
tips,
of financial tips? Yeah.
financial tips. What I have found is that, especially in particular to small business owners, everybody has an idea. There are some people out there, they have an idea to open up their restaurant. They have an idea to open up their own fitness center. They have an idea to open up an LLC. But what I found is that a lot of people, they don't have the revenue to come to the table first. That is very important, that you have to have that revenue established. And the only way to really establish that is doing the first thing, is getting educated. So you have to be willing to sit down and ask somebody, okay, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. These are my goals. How can I get from here to there? And then you'll actually sit with someone that will definitely help you build up the financial plan, because everything needs a plan, right? But everything in the middle of that plan, you got to have the money. And if you don't have a plan for the money, then the plan that you set out to do will fail because you didn't prepare financially. So I will end it with that. You can reach me through, I have my own Facebook page called Wisdom Wealth Legacy. You can also reach me on Facebook. My name, Meechie Jefferis, Meechie Jefferis. And you can also feel free to send me a Facebook friend request, as well as inboxing me as well. Thank you.
Michi, thank you so much. God bless you. You definitely, this is divine appointment, divine assignment, and it's great. You mentioned that, and I was telling this to Jackie earlier. I used to do events. That's what I do. I'm an event guy, and I was wondering why people were not showing up, why my crowds were low, my registration was low, because I hadn't prayed about it. I was out there in my flesh, just working. Good idea, but the Lord hadn't approved it. And I had a strong conversation with the Lord one day, and the Lord was like, "You gonna talk to me about what you want to do yet?" Yes, sir. I'm listening. Lord, what do you want me to do? Okay, now understand this. As long as I'm getting the credit and the kingdom is being glorified, then you're going to have a successful event. Once I put God in it, oh man, it's been a blessing. And that's how I'm able to be with all of you all. Started the mastermind group in 2016. The Lord put it on my heart to do it. This is founded by the God. Like Jackie said, it ain't got nothing to do with these titles, but we have people in positions that are accountable for what they're doing and they're experts. So all about God getting out of your own way. So thank you, Michi. And don't forget to follow up with Dr. Kavanaugh because she'll get on you. West Side, be on her show. And let's round out the show with
South Side.
South Side, South
Oh,
Side,
stop
And the West Side.
South Side. Let's round out the show with Leah Chapman. Thank you for your patience. She has probably the most important topic information when we're talking about our youth. What about our kids today? And not to start this off with you, but I'm just building up. You think about the kids that are not graduating from high school. They're working from home, virtually from home. How is this affecting their mental capacity, their mental wellness? In about 20 to 30 years, you're going to start seeing some statistics that might not be so pretty because of the mental illness, the mental situations that our kids are suffering. I used to be one of them brothers doing Congressional Black Caucus to impress you, Leah, talking about school to prison pipeline. How do we plug it? And so I started working with the state's attorneys around saying, hey, if you get elected, if an African American get pulled over for weed in the car, why he go to jail longer than the white guy? I'm just keeping it real. The laws were different. So now they didn't legalize marijuana in every place. Are we going to get these people out of jail that went to jail for this stuff that's not legal? And I'm just saying, these are conversations. But I would like for you, Leah, you and Dr. Dyer are mental wellness experts. Talk to us a little bit about how you got into mental wellness and what's the best advice you can give the adults to go through it, the children, because guess what? We talk about education, entrepreneurship, health and wellness, financial literacy, right? But if you don't tackle that mental wellness piece from 0 to 8, and I'm just some stuff, you're talking about a kid that'll be in prison already because of that situation. So just talk to us how you got into the mental wellness. I see your title, The Mental Reconstructionist. Talk to us a little bit how you got into that being your wheelhouse, and what kind of tips can you give us, brothers and sisters, parents, and also for our children, and then lead us out with your contact information.
All right. So how I got into doing this. I often tell people that although I have a degree in mental health, that I was a therapist long before I ever stepped foot into someone's, level of higher education. I began to work with my peers in high school. My friends would often come to me with their issues, their problems. There was something that emanated from me that allowed them to see that it was safe with me to be able to come and to download, right, what was going on. And oftentimes those conversations led back to the home. It led back to the dysfunction of the family system. And so with that, right, that began to like really tug at my heart. I can't say that any of us on the face of this earth have not come from a level of dysfunction within the family. And so when I, got a little older, didn't make all the best choices, all the best decisions, ended up having 2 children and raised them as a single mom for 18 years. And in that, I saw the pain that my children were going through, right? So it started very young where I witnessed it in my peers. Now I'm witnessing it in myself through my children. And so the Lord just kind of opened that door for me. Again, I didn't know that I was going to wind up becoming a therapist. I really wanted to be a surgeon. But at the time that my father passed, I wanted to honor his life, right? He was like, Leah, before he died, he really wanted me to return back to school and finish my degree. And God just kind of took me down this path. And since then, my whole life literally is giving to someone else's pain, holding space for someone's pain and allowing them safety enough to kind of go through it. So when you're looking at tips right now for the African American community, what I would say is stop avoiding your pain. Your
Mhm.
pain is real, right? Your pain it is so much so that if you acknowledge it, if you touch in and lean in, right? That lean in, right?
Mhm.
Just a bit more into your pain, you will find that healing is on the other side. But those that suffer from a measure of trauma, whatever that traumatic situation or event may be, avoidance stops their growth. And so I would encourage all of my brothers and sisters, especially in our community, to, not buy into this stigma. I understand that the healthcare system has not always done well with our people. But you do have the opportunity to choose someone that looks more so like you to be able to have go along this journey of healing along with you. And if you do that for yourself, the legacy, right? Meechie, the legacy will not just only be financial, but it will be emotional. And to have that mental and emotional wherewithal, that will sustain your ability to then build on the legacy, whether it is financially, through entrepreneurship, whatever it is that you put your hand to do, your mind will be in a better off space to deal with the ups, the downs, the challenges, and also to change the community as you change your life. So I would say don't ignore the pain is a tip. Lean into it just a little bit more and give yourself the gift of healing as well as your children and your children's children.
I love that. We could literally end the show on that, but I got to say something that's confirmation because Dr. Clarice Kavanaugh will have the last word tonight. I wrote this nice book. I think y'all all bought it. And the subtitle is Pain, Purpose, and Position. And I talk about in this book how your pain leads you to your purpose. And your purpose will put you in the position to do your God-given talent. For example, I spent 30 years in IT. That's not my God-given talent. My God-given talent is connecting people. But when mom passed and dad passed, and I lost a lot of people, me and my wife lost me and my wife lost a whole generation in 6 years, a whole generation. And you talking about being the matriarch and patriarch of our families in our latter 40s, early 50s. Come on. That pain that I did not avoid as my beautiful sister, woman of God, I got it. I received it. Pain will lead you to your purpose. God gonna get your attention one way or the other. He gonna wake you up and catch you. Pain, purpose, and position. Love that. This is one of my best sellers here. I see that bestseller sticker on the back. To God be the glory.
And Doc, can I add, right?
Yeah,
That pain will be the very thing that helps, like you said, to elevate you. And God will get your attention.
he
And he
will.
will use pain at times, right? So that you can look up. So, no, I just wanted to affirm your book there and what it was that you were saying.
Yes.
And before, you move over to my dear sister, Dr. Kavanaugh, I did want to share how individuals can contact me if
Yes.
they did want to reach out and have someone to kind of walk that journey along with them. As my sisters have stated, I'm on all social media platforms from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn to Twitter, wherever. You can just DM me. You can also email me at info@intervene, and it's spelled a little interestingly, capital NTERV as in victory, ENE.com. And my website is www.intervene.com. I welcome anyone that wants to decide to begin this journey, to contact me, and I am there for you. So thank you again for this opportunity, Doc. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much. As Dr. Kavanaugh gets ready to close us out, one of the models of the mastermind group is like Black Hollywood, back in the day, Oklahoma, where we can use each other. We have a travel agent in the building. We have an individual that does mental wellness, financial literacy. We got it all, and I'm still building. I don't have an attorney in the group yet, but we're going to get one. I've been praying for an attorney for a while.
I got you, Doc. I got you.
Okay.
And
All
he's a brother. He's a brother, so I got you.
All right. And we love diversity. Eve Gomez is Hispanic. We have, and let me tell y'all this, y'all don't know this. Yes, I'm a founding member, but we've had Caucasians in this group, and they have been great. They were founding members, but they went on. One individual had to step down because they were traveling. So we do take Caucasians and Hispanics, and there's no racist blood in my body. Diversity is key, and we need everybody to know. This just not for African Americans, but that is my first choice to help our community. I will put that out front. I will tell you that. So, Dr. Kavanaugh, take us home with some inspiration, some empowerment, some leadership. You've done so much. Oh, Dr. Kavanaugh, I will be calling you in the morning. I do want you to get some sleep. We're going to talk about your workshop and get that under the wraps. And I just got to tell you, I love your graphics. I don't know who's doing your flyers. Shout out to Leah Chapman. Her husband do some flyers. We got to check him out. But your graphics are cold, sis. I always tell people, you can get to the venue and the venue could look like trash. You can get to the venue and the food is bad. But I will tell you, the first window to anything online is the flyer. The flyer can get you there. Now, I have been places where the flyer looked nice and got there and the venue was bad. But I try to make sure that the flyer is tight, the food is good, and the venue. But more importantly, I like people to grade me for my speakers. Because the speakers coming, like Meechie coming tomorrow, she's going to drop the mic. And we got Mr. Tahi Berg. Shout out to everybody. You can register, everybody. I'm talking to the audience. You can register today. Give a donation at VIPeventsconcierge.com/listings. VIP events with an S, concierge.com/listings. Go take a look at the new website, everybody. It's amazing. You're going to see Leah Chapman in there. You're going to see Meechie in there. You see Dr. Kavanaugh in there. And so we thank all our new members. Dr. Clarice Kavanaugh, you have so much wisdom. I'm learning from you as well. Would you give us some, 30 seconds, give us some encouraging words we're in Holy Week. We got Resurrection Sunday coming up. People call it Passover, but we're still in Holy Week, and we got an amazing, blessed Easter weekend coming. Jesus has risen, Resurrection Sunday. Give us some encouraging words to take us home, sister.
Well, thank you, Dr. Larry White, Sr. I kind of want to sum it up by what we've all talked about. The name of my show is The Pain of Change. And that's what we have all talked about, the change and the pain that it goes through. But that's the only way you can get the victory. Jesus was crucified. Think about the pain. The pain is they nailed his hands and his feet to the cross. Think about the pain that he endured for the change for all of us. That is the ultimate sacrifice.
Amen.
When you think about tomorrow of Good Friday, when he took his last breath, and when one person on his right and one person on his left, one believed he was the Son of God and went to heaven. And the other thief felt like, if you're really the Son of God, why are you up here with us? Because they didn't understand the pain of change that he had to go through for all mankind. And when you think about on Sunday morning, when he rose and they went into the tomb, when they went into the tomb, everything was neatly folded. He didn't rush and get up. That nothing was in disarray in that tomb. He got up and he rose and walked this earth for 40 days for us, to help us through what we're all going through today. And if we knew God, like we say, we know him, we trust him through all things. And that's what I would like to leave all of us with. It's never too late. We're never too old, and never give up.
Mm,
Because once we give up, we give out.
mm.
And that's when it's all over. So God bless each and every one of us. Bless our families. Bless our children with good health, peace of mind, being able to breathe on our own. How many people do we hear is on a ventilator?
Mm.
We take for granted. Everybody's not able to breathe on their own. Right now, somebody just took their last breath. So we want to just say thank you, Lord. Thank you. And we all are blessed. Every ear that hears us and sees us has been blessed by all of us today. And it should be encouraged by what we've heard. Thank you, Dr. Larry. Love to all. And I'll talk to you in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Listen, I want to show Leah this. We're going to end the broadcast, but I want to show Leah something that's really cool. I'm going to end the broadcast, but I'm going to keep y'all in the studio. Dr. Clarice knows how to do that. This is another thing I love about StreamYard. So, Facebook family, we love y'all. Thank you for being here with us. Meechie Jefferis, she was very powerful tonight. She get connected with her. She's amazing. I get a chance to hang out with Meechie tomorrow night. I'm coming to California in a few months to hang out with Dr. Kavanaugh, and I will be seeing Eric A. Lomax, and Leah in Detroit very soon. Everybody will come to the DMV in September, praying on that. So good night, Facebook family. We love you. My special VIP guest, let me show y'all a real quick trick here. God bless you, everybody. Good night. Y'all hold on for me.